Hello, grade 10 boys and girls. It's one more beautiful Wednesday morning. I am Rakesh Shrestha here with you for your English classes. And in today's class, we're going to focus on the concept of causative verbs. So I've got the title for you, Causative Verbs in Actions. But before we go with this topic, I would like to make a short recap of what we did in our last two classes. If my memory is correct, and if I can remember things well, in my first class, we learned a few things about voice, and then last Wednesday, I taught you something about context clues. So, I believe, okay, they had helped you a lot when you interacted with those lessons with your school teachers and friends. Today, like we have already said, we're going to learn about the causative verbs. And my special focus will be, okay, causative, what are the causatives, why do we use causatives, and how we use causatives in our language. Anyways, let's move on. So if I talk something about myself, okay, about things that I like to do, I have put, okay, examples. Recently, I furnished my room. I had my room furnished yesterday, recently, and then I got Jordan Smith to furnish my room. Now, how many of you like to do things on your own? Do you always do the things on your own, like everything? I have a doubt. I'm pretty sure we get things done by others too, or we have people, okay, do works for us. So how to understand the concept of causative? For that, let's take some examples of the causative first. Here on my screen, okay, you can see the causative verbs: let something be done, let somebody or someone to do something, have and get and want. Remember and notice want, I have put it in brackets. There's a cause for this. I will explain that later. So have, get, want, something, okay, done, or make somebody or someone to do something, or is it like do something? What are the confusions? Okay, how to understand tense, and basically, okay, before you understand causative, we need to understand subject, object, agent, and the structure of basic grammar, where we will learn infinitives, its types, and then participles. So, having said these, I'd like to show you some examples of the causative verbs in sentences. And after that, I'll explain to you how we can make it, okay, easy and comprehensive for our own practice and application in language. See here, one example. A month ago, James painted his house. When I say this, okay, James is a subject, you know it. Painted is a verb in past tense. And object is his house. A basic concept. James painted his house. But what happened? Okay, it was a disaster. He was not a good painter, okay, on his own, and this was a bad job that he did. So he decided to call a professional painter. Now, he got this professional painter to paint his house. James had got his house painted. Now here, if you compare this sentence with the previous one, in the previous one, James, he tried to do something on his own, and that failed. He failed it terribly. So he had, or he got, somebody else to do it. Who that person is not important for him, for us also. What is important here is what was done. So James had his house painted. We just come to know about the work, but right now we don't need to know who that person is. That's how we use causative. Go for more examples. See, I'm reading out some sentences. When I do this, I want you to focus on the variation of tense. Right now on your screen, I'm reading, I have my nails done. I had my car fixed yesterday. The first one is in present tense. The second one is in past tense. Okay, here I've got 4 pictures. So you've got 4 sentences explained. First one, she has her hair cut. They had their house painted. She will have her bike fixed. She will have her, okay, makeup done. Up is missing. Now, when I'm doing this, you must have got the focus, okay, in the last verb, and that is verb 3. Keep it in your memory for a little while. More examples. They will have their, okay, food served. We will have our photo taken. She is having her pizza delivered. They are having a massage done. Here too, the focus, okay, lies on this particular verb, which is the participle. Okay, this is past participle, the verb 3 structure. 5 forms of verbs you've read. Now, without pictures, some more sentences. I have my dog washed. I have my letter mailed. She will have her teeth whitened. Interesting verb from white, whitened. He will have his laundry done. She is getting a plastic surgery done. She is getting her clothes designed. Now, everywhere, okay, we're focusing on the verb 3. That is the first example. Now, where we use infinitives, examples of coming forward. Here too, okay, you have similar example that matches with the first one that I have kept on speaking. We had our cocktail served. He has his glasses repaired. I had my clothes ironed. Now, in almost every sentence that I am speaking right now or reading out right now, you must have noticed that the subject, okay, is not doing anything. Like here, in the first example on the board, just see, recently I furnished my room. I is the subject, and this subject is doing something. But if you go with second one, I had my room furnished recently. I again is the subject, but here I is not doing anything. All right? We don't know someone who has done this furnishing work, but we only know that the room is furnished. So, the concept here is to understand how do you play your mind in knowing the subject, whether the subject is doing the work or not. So, reading is easy, of course. But how do you make it comprehensive? Like I've said in the very beginning, this is what we're going to study now. So see here. Here, I is subject, we know. And then you have my room object. But if I draw a sentence here, I, okay, will get my brother, okay, to teach me driving. Look at the sentence. I is the subject, you know it, okay. My brother is the object, you know that. Who is doing the work here? It's not I, it's my brother, the object. In this sentence, okay, I furnish my room. The object is not working. All right? But here, if you go with number 4, I will get my brother. Brother is doing something for the subject. So, he becomes not just the object, but he becomes the agent. Now you got agent explained. What is agent? Agent is the object in a sentence that actually does something for the subject, because the subject is not doing anything in that particular sentence. So whenever you have an agent, you know that you are using a causative verbs. Now what are those causative verbs? Okay, if you want them in the list, we study the causative, okay, get causative, have causative, let causative, and make causative. You must have noticed in one of my slide, okay, I have also highlighted want. Remember, want is not the exact causative verb. It is a state of mind. When I say like, I want you to do something for me, I'm trying to say like, okay, this is just what I expect you to do for me, but you're not doing that at that point. But when I say, okay, I let you do that for me, you actually have done it. So that there is a difference. You need to distinguish the concept of work being done and the work you expect someone to do something for you. Now, how can we understand, okay, this model of using causative verbs in a very easy and interesting way? I have mentioned, okay, in my screen, okay, innovative abbreviations, HTML, and that is hypertext markup language. So I have borrowed the ideas from the computer subject, and I have made my own formula in understanding the causative verbs. So I'm taking you one step closer, okay, to know how easy actually learning causative is. Let's go for it. See the three figures that you need to understand. Figure 1, okay, I will use HTML. This is the abbreviation I'm using. Now, why? There is a connection that I'm making. Have, H stands for have here. M stands for make. See, I'm making it interesting for you people. L stands for let. You will not find these in books. This is my concept. And I have made it, okay, easy. T, now what is T? T actually does not have, okay, its verb, because our list of verb that you have read, once again on the board, have, get, make, let. See these 4 verbs. Now, because T does not have a verb, what we understand is, if you're using a causative verb, one of these, have, make, and let, with the concept of ascent, okay, with the concept of ascent in your sentence, since there is no T, so I would prefer to use directly verb 1. Directly verb 1, no 2 plus verb 1. I won't use 2 plus verb 1, but I will only use verb 1. Simple example, okay, I will write here, I let, okay, Rosen buy chocolates. See, when I write this, I let Rosen buy chocolates. Okay, Rosen is the object, he is the agent because he is doing the job. Okay, the job is buying chocolates for the subject I. And therefore, since let verb is used, this let verb comes into HTML rule. And I have already mentioned with this, if you're using agent like Rosen, the concept is clear, you don't use 2. So you would use directly verb 1. Now, what is this verb 1? This verb 1 is called infinitive. It's in single verb function. So if you use by without T or 2, this is called bare infinitive. All right, this is called bare infinitive or plain infinitives in grammar. But if you're using a word like, see, I, not let, but this time I get. I get Rosen, and then you continue the remaining. I get Rosen, okay. Now, because you're using get, and get is a verb which does not follow the HTML part, so I have a different picture on this. With get, I simply use, okay, 2 plus verb 1 structure. And how to make this, okay, easy for you? Simple again. I have made another interesting, okay, rule on my own. Either you remember the word Google, because Google is the one from where you can get all sorts of help. And now, if you remember Google and if you remember G, okay, you'll remember get. And with that, one more interesting idea I have brought here is like, if you can remember GW, it's a common, okay, abbreviation for group work in our schools. See, I am trying, or I am applying my own ideas of understanding grammar. So when I remember group work, G stands for get, okay, W stands for want, all right? It's get and want. Now, with get and want, the number of verbs here are 2. Get and want, 2. So with that, I try to remember in my exams or in my real practice, this 2 actually is like 2 verbs, get and want. So because there is 2, I would prefer to use TO2 and then plus verb 1. So this is bare infinitive and this is to infinitive. I might have scribbled a lot on the board, okay, making it look a bit congested, but this is how you should work because it makes someone feel that you're working a lot better. So this is to infinitive. All right, I don't need to spell all, but if it is easy for you. So this is to infinitive. I have explained you 2 things right now. This is figure 2. Figure 1, recap, HTML rule, H, have, M, make, L, let. And because there is no verb for TO2, I will use no TO2, so directly verb 1 only, and that's how. So even if I replace this late with have, okay, I have risen by chocolates. All right? That's how you work. Now, why I am using want? I have told you there's a purpose, because want structure matches with that of get. That's the only reason that I brought the example of want here, but you got to remember, want is not the pure causative verb like these four: have, get, make, and let. Now, there is one more figure that we need to understand. Keep on remembering this figure, or maybe, okay, later on when you can enjoy my teaching, okay, in the recorded video formats, you can still find these worthy informations for all of you. Now, what is this figure 3? So, figure 3, sometimes, like in the examples that we have discussed, there are no agents mentioned. Example, okay, Tom had his car, okay, serviced. See in the sentence. Or, okay, one more sentence, Smith will, okay, get his house renovated. Okay, suppose in these two examples, see, do you see the agent? The agent is actually, okay, understood at the back like by somebody or by someone. But that is not important, okay, when you're using the causative for this example, because here what is done is more important. So Tom had his car serviced. We don't know who the agent is, but we only know that there is something that has been done, and for that structure we use verb 3 at the end of the sentence because the agent is missing. Tom had his car serviced. Tom is the subject, but he is not the one who did the work here. All right? Remember, see, Tom is not doing any work here. Someone who has done the work is not mentioned, and that's why, okay, we have removed the agent, unlike the previous two cases, figure 1 and figure 2. Now, figure 3 focuses on the concept of use of verb 3, which is called the past participles. Now, for past participles, interesting is, if you do not have agent, so the simple formula is no agent. If you have no agent while using causative verb, maybe it is, okay, any of these verbs, whichever appropriate that you're using, okay, you can simply use verb 3 at the end. No confusion at all. All right? Now see how I use these techniques in understanding, okay, voice, and solve the remaining exercises very easily. Travel with me. All right, here we go. Now, this page actually tells you something more about, okay, causative verbs. Now, what is that? Let me explain to you. You can also look at the screen and study for later, okay? But right now, if you can listen to me, you will understand more. See, I have highlighted here already have, make, late, and get. Whatever in order, it's okay. When should I use have? When should I use make? Why to use late? When to use get? Knowing the structure is not so important, all right? Because many times language becomes quite used to in our everyday colloquial communications. When we use dialects, when we keep on exchanging our ideas, when you use conversation, okay, communications, they keep on going on, okay? And most of the times, okay, without learning these particular steps of grammar, we keep on making corrections, or let's say like, okay, we keep on using the correct structures. But if you think, you will notice that, okay, you've made a mistake. So to avoid those errors, we're going to focus on why causative and how causative now. So if I'm using have, okay, it actually tells me something about responsibility or duty. Like if I'm a boss, okay, working in an office, I have my, okay, staff working under me. Am I supposed to do everything on my own? No, I won't. So I will have them do things for us. See, I will have them because it's their responsibilities. I focus on the verb have. So if you want to focus responsibility concept, use have. Make is like, okay, when I make someone do something for me, okay, I actually, okay, force. I actually force them. I insist them. All right? I compel them. There are lots of words. I compel them. So if you want to use force, if you want to insist someone, if you want to compel, if you forcefully want someone to do something for you, then you use make. Let is like, when I say let, okay, I'm actually giving permission. So you can use it for permission, you can use it to permit somebody, you can use it, okay, for allowing someone to do something for you. So it gives you that easy access, all right? You don't have any problem, okay? I let my sister, okay, use my laptop. It's okay, no problem at all. I don't mind. With that concept, you use let. Now, what about get? Get is a little interesting, okay? It is to persuade or convince someone. If you have got the idea of these, then you can move on with any sorts of causative examples, which we're going to play one after another now. So remember these 4 concepts and remember those 3 figures. That will be a complete knowledge for you to enjoy causative verbs. Let's take examples. This, how do you like to do things? See the example. Subject plus let plus person plus verb. Now, why I did not teach you that? Because it's always difficult for many amateur grammar user or language users to understand syntax. For example, if I say, okay, Suzanne, okay, let me speak English. Okay, look at this example. Suzanne, you have subject. She's not doing anything. She's simply, okay, giving me permission, and me, that is I am the object. Speak, okay, there is a wrong spelling, okay. S-P-A-K, speak is the correct spelling now. So see, speak is bare infinitive. It goes over here. Why? Because that belongs to HTML group. All right. Now, when I do this, what is more important, like I was telling you, is to understand the concept of isn't. And this is the isn't. Now, if I draw the syntax for this, if I teach you like this, see, subject plus let plus isn't plus bare infinitive, okay, plus dot 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 or extension. With this particular syntax that I have drawn here, I am sure 90 or above 90% of students will focus on the syntax, but they will not put that thing, okay, into implementation while using this causative in examples. So let's forget about this right now. Let's just focus on this concept, the 3 figures and the concept of these vocabularies plus, okay, the idea that I have asked you people not to follow. Let's take example. He will repair the TV set. This is not causative because subject he is doing the work himself. Now, if you want to put that into causative, see how will it go? He will have the TV set repaired. Figure 3, above 3. He will get the TV set repaired. Okay, either you use have or get, because this particular or these 2 sentences do not have the isn't working for the subject, okay, mentioned right here. We simply follow figure 3, above 3. He is having a technician repair the TV set. Now here is having tense is changed into continuous, but you're introduced to you the isn't, and the isn't is a technician. So in this question, he's having a technician. Because you have got an isn't, I will quickly remember my first 2 figures, HTML and group work. So I come to know HTML have verb, it goes to the first figure. HTML, T does not have, okay, any causative verb, so I would exclude TO2, and that becomes simply bare infinitive only repair. The answer is he's having a technician repair the TV set. Or he's getting a technician. Now, because you have replaced the have verb with get goes to the second category, and therefore you will use to repair. He's getting a technician to repair the TV set. Move on with more examples. She had, okay, her hair. Now, if I say she had, because she is working here, she had dried her hair. There is no causative examples. But if she is not going to dry her hair herself, she expects someone to do that for her. Okay, how can you put that into function? She had, double had. Remember, this is quite interesting. Double had. When you have double had, the first had is the aux verb. The second had is the main verb. So, this is not causative. The causative is this because it is the main verb, and therefore this again will go with the idea of have. Remember the tense. Tense can vary, but rules remain the same. So she had or hair dried because no agent is mentioned, and she got this done by somebody whom we don't need to know. What is important for us is what is done to her. That becomes important. So further, she had got. Now again, instead of had, I'm using got. She had got her hair. Again, remember, even if I use got, it remains with the figure 3 concept, no agent disclosed. So I will simply use verb 3, dried. She had the hairdresser. Now because you are introduced to the agent is hairdresser, I will remember figure 1 and figure 2. So I go with the concept of to infinitive or bare infinitive. Once you have this agent always takes you to the figure that I have drawn before, figure 1 and figure 2 ideas. Figure 1, bare infinitive, verb, V1 without TO2. Figure 2 talks about, okay, verb with TO2. So one more example, she had got the hairdresser. That's a similar example, and because you are using got as the causative verb and you have the agent introduced, so figure 2, and that goes to bare infinitive, 2 plus verb 1, to dry her hair is the answer for the green sentence. So we have got similar examples. I will just keep on playing the sentences for you, and you can try there whether you can get the right answer or not. You can verify it later after my class gets over. So here are the sentences. I'm playing this because in the recording you can see these and then you can try. If I answer everything, okay, it's just like, okay, I am learning and you guys are not. So here are the questions for you for your practice. This is next. The optician tested her eyes. That is not the causative because the optician is doing the work. Now how to work on the causative? Here are the examples, and you're going to use, okay, see, no matter what, they do the same. I've put the example of want. I have told you it matches with the structure of get. So the mechanic repairs his car, and then his car, he has his car repaired by the mechanic. Not necessary because that is obvious again. It's a similar concept like I've taught you, okay, in voice in my first class. He gets his car repaired. Okay, no changes in the verb repaired because there is no agent mentioned, or the agent is kept at the end, hidden for us. He has the mechanic repair. Again, it becomes repair. Why? Because you have the has causative, and has belongs to HTML. The first figure I have taught you, bare infinitive, no to, directly verb 1, and that is repair. So, but if you use gets, see, 2 plus verb 1, and that's how you get to repair his car. Now, a few more example. They paint the windows every spring, and you have to use any suitable verb that you want and produce your correct answers. All right. So I think we have just use my techniques. I don't mind, okay, use your own, but this I feel is convenient, and I believe this is quite new, so you would like to try. Every person, okay, likes trying new things, and that's why I thought my new ways of learning grammar will definitely help you. Thank you for the wonderful time, okay, you gave for me, for my class. And like I've said, my classes for grade 9 that I'm going to play, okay, at 11 to 5 is equally beneficial for grade 10 students, because grade 9 and 10 course are almost irrelevant. So you can watch me, okay, at 11 to 5 and learn something more interesting about, okay, making plans, intentions and decisions, and few other interesting vocabulary grammars. Till then, till next week, bye bye from me. Okay, enjoy your day. Keep on practicing grammar and make sure you take the works to your school teachers. That is just going to be fine. Bye bye.